Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I have a new release from San Martin. Well, it is not exactly new, but it is rather an evolution of the really popular SN0130 model, expanding San Martin's range of gemstone dials, however this time with a three-hander variant powered by Seiko NH35 movement. So we have here some sort of fusion of the best-selling points of two different and very popular San Martins, SN0129 bringing to the table beautiful gemstone dials and SN0130 with the stunning case and bracelet designs. Now, you probably saw a pop-up, a quick disclaimer, San Martin did send me this watch for review and I get to keep it. In return, I will share a comprehensive review of this timepiece, and of course all the links and potential discounts that San Martin will provide will be in the description of this video. Now, looking at the design, I know there are a lot of comparisons of this watch to Grand Seiko, however, I definitely wouldn't put it in the homage category. I would go as far as to say that this case has a lot of originality compared to Grand Seiko, and probably as much or possibly even more than this Citizen Chronomaster with washy paper dial, and yet I don't see a lot of criticism towards Citizen about ripping off Grand Seiko. By the way, I hope one day to get myself one of those beauties, which are currently going for about $2,000 to $3,000. So, in short, yes, this San Martin does have Grand Seiko vibes, and yet I think it stands on its own as well, where they do go along with the trend that we see from Grand Seiko and Citizen for that matter is experimenting with different dial materials and textures, and this model here is a great representation of these experiments. I think that this is the only San Martin that is offered with Malachite dial at the time of making this video, and I think it is absolutely gorgeous. San Martin also offers this model with aventurine dial and with mother of pearl, the white and the black one. All the dials are very good looking. Of course, naturally all the dials have natural, or should I say organic patterns, and therefore no two dials are the same, which I think is pretty special. So, looking at dimensions, we have 40mm bezel diameter, 42mm case width, 12.9mm case height and 21mm lugs. The lug-to-lug distance is 48.5mm, and measuring the distance between the protruding end links we have 52.5mm. And as supplied, the bracelet will cover wrists up to 8¼ inch or 21cm in circumference, and this watch weighs 173 grams and 157 grams after adjusting it to my about a 7-inch wrist. After I did all these measurements on camera, I've got a bit worried. This watch not only looks slightly larger than the SN0129, it is actually larger. But my concerns disappeared once I adjusted the bracelet and tried it on. San Martin managed to sculpt this case so well that this watch practically melts into my about 7-inch wrist. Case. Well, I already mentioned how good this case is. It has an elaborate interplay of brushed and polished surfaces, starting from the fixed bezel with well-defined high-polished grooves between the engraved numerals and nice high-polished chamfer running around the bezel edge. Moving further, and we get to one of my favorite parts of this case, the elegantly slanted downed lugs. I especially like the chamfers on top and on the bottom of the flanks, and the high polished facets on top and on the bottom of the lugs, giving the lugs that chisel-like appearance. We don't have crown guards per se here, however, the screw-down crown is noticeably recessed into the case side, and therefore it will have some additional protection. The screw-down crown is also signed with engraved San Martin logo, the threading is smooth and is pleasure to operate. The back of the case, as on most San Martin watches, is quite uneventful, but I'm still hoping that one day San Martin will surprise us with some kind of cool engraving or exhibition caseback. Well, one day. And with the screw-on back case and screw-down crown, San Martin declared quite conservatively 100 meters of water resistance, so we are well covered for swimming and possibly even skin diving here. So we have slightly domed raised sapphire crystal. It is a double dome crystal, the curvature is very subtle and it is just enough to create a bit of visual interest. And we have a decent amount of anti-reflective coating here to make sure that nothing stands in our way to enjoy this stunning malachite dial. So, dial. Of course, the malachite background, it is unique, it is attention-grabbing, and as an additional bonus, it does not compromise the legibility, so I can tell the time when I'm looking at this watch, which is of course a welcome feature on a timekeeping device such as this. As a matter of fact, the high-polished applied multifaceted hour indices and high-polished hands really pop on this dial, further enhancing the legibility. The subtle red tip on the second hand nicely complements the green tone of the dial background, and I cannot stress enough how good this piece of natural gemstone looks. We of course have a framed window at 3 o'clock position, the silver frame and the white background color work well with the white lume and silver indices and hands. Could San Martin color match the date background to the dial? Well, possibly. Would it make much of a difference aesthetically? Well, I'm not sure. The Hruodland though is color matched and it is green with white printed minute track. The Hruodland is set at an angle, sort of bringing the edge of the dial and the crystal together, which kind of makes the dial background look even closer to the crystal than it really is. A little visual trick that in a way makes this watch case look even more slender. And of course, the lume. We have BGW X1 according to the product listings, and it is very decent. It is not a diver level, so don't expect it to light up the room. However, it is quite long-lasting and definitely better than average. Now looking at the bracelet, and we see similar attention to detail and high build quality on the bracelet as we have on the case. For starters, the bracelet and the case integration is pretty much flawless. Yes, these are protruding end links, and yes, the lug width is 21mm, not as common as 20. However, it looks like San Martin decided to compromise strap selection in favor of preserving the perfect 2-to-1 ratio of 42mm case and 21mm lugs. And to be honest, I personally will not be removing it from this bracelet anytime soon. The solid stainless steel end links are very well curved down, and then for even smoother transition, San Martin made the bracelet links closer to the case a bit thicker on the case side. Not only does it create a nice visual flow, it also makes the wrist fit even more comfortable. Okay, maybe it is just an illusion, but it is a very good one. We have screws connecting the links, which is good, and the center links on the bracelet are slightly raised and feature a thin, high-polished chamfers on both sides, which, okay, does look a bit Grand Seiko-ish. And we get already very familiar San Martin's clasp with applied logo and on-the-fly adjustment. As with the rest of this watch, the clasp is also a bit larger than the one used on SN0129, so it balances this watch on the wrist really well. So, if you're familiar with the price of SN0130, well, the good news is that this SN0130G-B is noticeably more affordable, about $40 more affordable as a matter of fact, and that is because of use of Seiko NH35 movement rather than NH34 one with the GMT complication. Also, there will be an additional early bird discount for customers who watch this video before 11th of July, and I will of course leave all the details in the description of this video. So we have here another very interesting and arguably original design from San Martin with some cool twist of using gemstones for dials. I could argue that this watch is slightly more prominent and might not work for resizes, say, slimmer than 6¼ inch, unless you don't care, and I know a lot of you do like prominent looking timepieces. But just in case if you are concerned about the size, well, there is always a SN0129, which is also absolutely gorgeous watch, and I will leave a link to its review on the screen somewhere around here. What are your thoughts? Do let us know in the comments. It is always a treat to read your feedback. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and of course subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next video.